Hi guys, it's Linda Ruth Bess again. In this article, we'll hear from former FBI agent Ted Gunderson. Now, unfortunately, he is no longer with us. He died in 2011 of cancer. This article is also featured on Rudy2's multilingual blog. I'll just read it for you. A former senior official of the Federal Bureau of Investigation says rogue military intelligence and law enforcement units of the federal government oversee a nationwide network of community-based gang stalking, harassment, intimidation, and domestic terrorism directed at thousands of U.S. citizens who have been extrajudicially targeted as dissidents or undesirables. Ted Gunderson, 82, who has served as the special agent in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles, Memphis, and Dallas field offices, has stated in a series of public speaking appearances that he is now targeted by these same elements and fears for his life and for the safety of his family. He reports that the windows of his home have been shot out and believes he has been poisoned and physically sickened by those seeking to silence him. Since his retirement from the FBI in 1979, Gunderson has been a Southern California-based private investigator. He is most noted for his defense work on the murder case involving former Army physician Dr. Jeffrey McDonald. The ex-FBI official's comments represent the most compelling testimony to date indicating that black operations of the federal government are dedicated to waging a covert war of terror and persecution targeting American citizens. Based on my 30 years' experience in research, I have determined there are thousands of victims who have been targeted by an illegal U.S. government rogue criminal enterprise, military intelligence probably tied into CIA and FBI, that is active 24 hours a day throughout the United States, Gunderson stated in an October 2008 speech posted last fall on YouTube. To note, the date of this particular blog post, it appears that the link to the Ted Gunderson YouTube video has been sabotaged. Please search Ted Gunderson in YouTube and look for the link to his speech at the Gulf Symposium. I believe this is more blatantly illegal and malicious interference with the telecommunications by operatives of Lockheed Martin under contract to U.S. Homeland Milintel or another entity representing the agencies, commands, and corporations of the U.S. Fusion Center Network. Here's another quote by Gunderson. "It is far too extensive to be controlled by private enterprise," Gunderson said. "I believe this well-organized and sophisticated operation has a central command located somewhere in the United States with multiple satellite offices scattered throughout the country." Said Gunderson, "It appears those who administer the program can call any location in the United States for surveillance, a telephone tap, or harassment directed at a victim and immediately dispense manpower to the source. This well-greased covert operation makes the old FBI counterintelligence program, code-named COINTELPRO, look like a Sunday school class." Gunderson also maintains that federal security and law enforcement agencies and commands have been infiltrated by members of secret societies such as the Illuminati. This correspondent has reported that Lockheed Martin, the world's largest defense contractor and the prime cybersecurity and information technology supplier to the federal government, coordinates the communications and trains the team leaders of a nationwide Gestapo-like apparatus which has tentacles into every security and law enforcement agency in the nation, including state and local police and 72 regional fusion centers administered by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. According to company literature, Lockheed Martin has operations in 46 of the 50 states. Lockheed Martin also has operational command and control over a U.S. government microwave radio frequency weapon system deployed on cell tower masts throughout the U.S. that is being used to silently torture, impair, subjugate, and electronically incarcerate so-called targeted individuals. The nexus of this American torture matrix appears to be Lockheed Martin's mission and Combat Support Solutions Central Command Center in Norristown, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, which employs several thousand workers. The defense contractor's global headquarters is in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside the nation's capital. Lockheed Martin, under contract to U.S. security and intelligence agencies and commands, also conducts warrantless surveillance of the telecommunications of targeted persons and routinely censors and tampers with the content of their communications. Thousands of Americans, including this veteran journalist, the writer's referring to himself, have publicly reported being the victims of silent electromagnetic assault and community-based home intrusions, vandalism, poisoning of food, water, and air. Federal and local law enforcement routinely dismiss their reports as the product of delusions or mental illness and refuse to investigate their complaints. These targets and their families have been physically harmed and financially destroyed as a result of taxpayer-funded psychological operations, police-protected community stalking, harassment, and malicious vandalism, and other covert programs of personal destruction, including government-assisted financial sabotage. Many appeared to have been targeted as a result of their politics, their activism, or corporate whistleblowing activities, their ethnic background, or as a result of score-settling vendettas by persons in positions of power in government and in the private sector. The former FBI executive's remarks, referring back to Mr. Gunderson, are only now attracting widespread exposure on this and other websites. This correspondent, the writer, believes that recent revelations of government-sponsored domestic terrorism against U.S. citizens have prompted some conscientious insiders to call attention to Gunderson's public statements. Gunderson has said that government-sponsored gang-stalking terrorism is financed, quote, through illegal black operations, unquote, such as sales of illegal drug, gambling, prostitution, and even sexual exploitation of children. But this reporter believes it is more likely that programs of government-sponsored domestic terrorism are funded from military and security black ops budgets that have been illegally diverted to covert domestic programs administered and conducted primarily by defense contractors. Late last year, the New York Times disclosed that an official of the U.S. Air Force had set up an unauthorized military intelligence spy ring in Pakistan and Afghanistan, run by Lockheed Martin and funded by defense appropriations. This correspondent, again back to the writer, Rudy II, suspects that a similar arrangement could be funding government-sponsored gang-stalking operations throughout the nation and has urged Congress to immediately hold public hearings as part of a comprehensive investigation of military-style black ops targeting American citizens and their families, a silent, slow-kill genocide motivated by ideology and hate. So we have Ted Gunderson of the FBI, former FBI, who's no longer with us. We have Carl Clark, former CIA. There's also a woman named Karen Stewart, who is former NSA. We have former NSA Mr. Tice. We have a lot of other people who have come forward. Dr. John Hall. We have Catherine Horton. The list goes on. Of course, there's Mr. Snowden. Thanks for listening. Peace out. These are things to think about, don't you think? If it's not happening to you, I guess you're really not that concerned now, are you? It's too bad. Maybe you should be.